Ancient World, Ancient Nukes, Chapter 4, The Dark of the Covenant, Chosen but Wise. Two great empires, Egypt at its height and the Hebrew kingdom of David, are entangled across time by a primal force. King David, now older, seeks conquest and glory, while his son Solomon, raised in privilege, focuses on building a temple and wielding subtle mystical powers, even controlling demons. At the heart of their power is the Ark of the Covenant, containing sacred texts and the very essence of the Almighty. As David and Solomon confer before the Ark, they understand the gravity of its power, capable of reshaping their world, but requiring wisdom and caution in its use. There is the sound of gentle winds whistling through a bustling city square, the hum of trade and life in the kingdom. There is the flapping of fabric and the clinking of tools as people work in the background. In the heart of Israel, where the streets of Jerusalem hum with life, a power lies hidden, a power that has long been feared and also revered. The Ark of the Covenant, kept within the Holy of Holies, holds a force that even the greatest kings dare not fully understand. The sound of footsteps echo in the great hall. There is the soft sounds of sandals against stone floors as King David walks toward the chamber housing the Ark. A deep, solemn silence falls as he nears the sacred space. King David, quiet and reverent, says, "I am Hashem's warrior, and I will always be his warrior." And this Ark of the Covenant, it contains sacred texts, but beyond that, it is a weapon if necessary. And a high priest warns, "My king, the Ark's powers is not meant to be harnessed lightly. It is in the presence of the Almighty, not a weapon to be wielded by men." And King David is grave. "And yet we must be prepared, for our enemies are many. If this Ark protected our ancestors and has protected Israel, should we not unlock its true potential?" The priest hesitates, uneasy. David is now older, silver-streaked hair and a graying beard. His once strong frame is bent with age, but his sharp brown eyes still reflect the wisdom and strength of a seasoned king. His robes are simple, but his presence commands respect. David, king of Israel, contemplates the use of the Ark in battle as an offensive weapon, not a defensive one. It is no longer protective in his eyes, but something to be used to gain ground. Its mysterious power holds a force that could change the fate of nations. But there are those, even some within his court, who fear what may happen if such power is unleashed without restraint. Soft footsteps approach as Solomon, David's son, joins his father in the chamber. "Father, the Ark is sacred. We must not view it as a tool of war. It is a symbol of our covenant, yes, but it is a power that is far too dangerous. I have dabbled with demons, which has drawn your ire, and I understand, but when it comes to the Almighty, we really have no idea how much damage we can incur or how to control it." And David, slightly dismissive, says, "Solomon, you will inherit this kingdom one day. You must understand what power in any form is available as a means of survival and also to be used as conquest." Solomon is tall and lean, has dark curly hair. His bright eyes show wisdom beyond his years. He moves with a quiet confidence, already carrying the weight of his future as a king. "I see your point defensively," he says, "but conquest? We must not play with forces we do not fully understand. As Solomon speaks, his voice fades into the background. The sound of the wind becomes more intense, and the flicker of torchlight around the Ark of the Covenant brightens. A low hum fills the air as Solomon's gaze lingers on the Ark. His eyes widen slightly as though seeing something beyond the present moment. As Solomon stands before the Ark, his mind, sharp and calculating, stirs something within him. A familiar pull from the shadows, a connection to the demonic entities he has learned to control. His breath catches for a moment as the world around him begins to blur. Time itself seems to bend, and in the blink of an eye, he is no longer in the grand hall beside his father. He is transported back to the time of Sodom and Gomorrah. The sky above him roars with fire, great columns of flame crashing down from the heavens with the very wrath of the Almighty. The once great cities of Sodom and Gomorrah are engulfed in a hellfire so intense that the very earth beneath them seems to scream. The air is thick with ash, smoke, and the agonized cries of those being consumed by the flames. Buildings crumble, turning to dust in an instant, as the fire rips through the cities, leaving nothing but destruction in its wake. Through the demons under his command, Solomon is able to revisit the horrors of the atomic bomb blasts at the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. The air burns with judgment, and the earth cracks beneath the weight of divine fury. The heat is unbearable, and yet Solomon does not feel it. He is merely a spectator, forced to watch the horrors of this divine punishment. His heart races as he takes in the sight of men, women, and children, their screams swallowed by the roar of the flames. The streets, once bustling with life, are now filled with ash and ruin. Solomon whispers, horrified, "What power could cause such destruction other than Hashem, our God?" He sees the fire, he sees the power that consumed entire cities, and he knows the truth. What lies within the Ark of the Covenant is not merely objects of worship, but it is a weapon, a force of unimaginable power, and if wielded carelessly, it could set off the same type of devastation, if not worse, in the future. He then watches the aftermath. What truly happened in those final moments? Was it indeed divine judgment, or something different, something more primordial than the earth, and yet not divine? Years later, at the same location, there are visitors to the ruins of the cities. Their footsteps crunch on the dry, cracked earth as they survey the destruction. One traveler whispers, "They say the sky burned that day, that the fire rained down from the heavens and consumed everything in its path." And a second traveler says, "It was no ordinary fire. Look at the ground. It's smooth like glass, and there was something else, something unnatural about it." Even in the aftermath, there is the faint sound of distant crackling flames returning, almost as if the earth itself remembers the destruction. The ruins bear the marks of something beyond understanding. The sands, once loose and flowing, are now smooth and crystallized, as if burned by a fire hotter than anything known to man. A third traveler approaches, saying, "And here, this pillar of salt." They say that someone seeking to flee the destruction made the mistake of looking back, and this is what became of her. And the second traveler, whispering awestruck, says, "Fire from the heavens? The wrath of God, or something else?" For Solomon, Sodom and Gomorrah remains shrouded in mystery. Was it the wrath of a vengeful God, or a force long forgotten now stirring once again? The power that raised these cities still lingers in the air, a warning to those who would seek to unlock its secrets. And then as quickly as it began, the vision fades, and Solomon finds himself back in the hall beside his father, the golden light of the Ark of the Covenant casting a glow around them. His breathing is heavy, and his heart pounds in his chest. He has seen it, the power that lay within the Ark, that was capable of bringing such destruction to anyone who dared unlock it. His hands tremble slightly, but he quickly steadies himself. Solomon has seen the fire, the power that once consumed entire cities, and now knows the truth. What lies within the Ark is not merely an object of worship, it is a weapon, a force of unimaginable power. The air in the royal chamber is thick with tension as Solomon returns to the kingdom of Israel and to the present day, or his present day, and he stands before his father, King David, still pale from the vision he experienced of Sodom and Gomorrah. The Ark of the Covenant, looming in the background, glows with a faint light, its ancient presence more foreboding than ever. David eagerly and with intensity says, "You say the Ark holds not just the words of God, but his essence, his power. The kind of power that rained down fire upon Sodom and Gomorrah." And Solomon, almost haunted, says, "Yes, Father. It's not just sacred text in that Ark. It holds something far greater, something older than the world itself. And the demons whispered to me, and I saw it, the fire from the heavens, the annihilation of 2 cities. The Ark contains the very essence of the Almighty, a force beyond our understanding. It's not like a weapon we've ever seen before." King David's eyes are alight with ambition. Well, then, it is exactly what we need, a force that can bring our enemies to their knees to conquer Canaan with the power of God himself and anyone else who decides that they might want to invade us. That would cement our rule for generations, maybe for all time. Solomon, firm but with restraint, says, "No, Father. This is not a weapon to be wielded lightly. I saw what it can do, entire cities reduced to nothing but ash. This is not about conquest. The power within the Ark is ungodly in its destruction. It's a force that should never be unleashed unless the very kingdom or the Ark itself were put in peril. Even my life, even if I were king, I would sooner die than use this thing." And David, dismissive, pushes forward, "But it's the essence of Hashem, our God. Surely if he has entrusted us with this, it means that this is supposed to be used by us, his warriors. And who better than me, his chosen king, to wield such power? If we don't use it, we waste the gift he has given us, and we also risk his displeasure." Solomon, warning, steady, says, "The demons themselves warn me, Father. They do not care for humanity's fate, but even they fear the Ark's power, for they say that if we use it carelessly, it will destroy not just our enemies, but us as well, and the devastation would be so complete, there would be no humanity. The devils and the demons would lose their prey, and in a way they need us to survive." And David, challenging with a frown, says, "The demons, you trust the words of those creatures? Why would they even care? Hellfire is what they thrive on." But Solomon holds his ground, calm but resolute, because even hellfire needs fuel, Father. Without humans, there are no souls for them to torment. Their warnings are not out of kindness, but out of self-preservation. The power in the Ark is not like the fire of battle. It is something far worse, something primal. It is the fire from the beginning of time, a force that could end everything. Solomon continues, nearly pleading, Father, this is not like a sword or a bow. This is the very essence of God, the power of creation and destruction. We cannot control it. And if we try, we risk more than our enemies. We risk everything: trade, culture, peace. These are what build lasting kingdoms. The ark holds the potential to undo it all and undo all of us. King David seems more drawn to conquest than for any kind of mediation. And he says, well, you may be right, but you know something? I've been in battle. I've fought. I've lost soldiers very close to me. A king must always consider every option for war. And this is a weapon which could ensure peace through its strength and victory. And Solomon, with a sigh of relief but cautious, says, and it could bring destruction beyond anything we've ever seen. I beg you, Father, to tread carefully. These are forces we were never meant to command. As the flickering light of the Ark of the Covenant casts long shadows on the walls, the tension between father and son remains unresolved. In this moment, Israel stands on the precipice of wielding unimaginable power. Its future is a dominant force hanging in the balance. But whether this power will bring peace or devastation remains to be seen, as even the mightiest of kingdoms must choose their paths wisely. But are they? And as Solomon listens to his father's aggressive stance on wielding the Ark of the Covenant as a weapon, a familiar chill runs down his spine, the same one he feels when he commands his demons. Solomon begins to wonder if perhaps something darker, like the demons themselves, is subtly influencing King David's desire to unleash the ark's destructive power, pushing beyond even his own natural warrior instincts. Solomon further ponders that Israel's use of the Ark of the Covenant to aid Mesopotamia might become necessary, with news of Egypt's development of a nuclear program based on ancient technology from Atlantis. This, combined with thoughts of divine vengeance, pushes him to contemplate unleashing the ark's power, another plague upon their former oppressors, the Egyptians, mirroring God's wrath upon Egypt generations ago before their release from bondage.